It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News. On this, the 18th day of July, 2022, I'm Chillie Falls, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. You'd think, folks, after how many years I've been doing this show, I could turn the damn thing on without screwing it up. Of course not. Anyway, it was funny. So I think I am officially live, although I was sitting here, kept waiting for the stream to start, and I hadn't started it. Duh. All right. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News today. Today, by the way, folks, is National Caviar Day. Boy, that's not my favorite. Although I will eat a little caviar, and when it's served as a garnish like on sushi, but just to eat a glob of caviar or, put it on a cracker or something, no. That's just not for me. The main story today, this morning, folks, is on Belize. They have dropped all of the travel restrictions. We're going to be talking about that. Other stories today, and a lot of these are carryovers from the weekend, like Bermuda no longer accepting the document of recovery. We have some Captain Kate news today. An update on the Westerdam from yesterday. Margarita at Sea Paradise is finally cleared and free to sail once again. That actually happened a couple days ago. And a whole lot more this morning at 11 o'clock. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from, like Stitcher, Podchaser, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Music. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the fat travel guide. And as always, I always post pictures or clips, and if you want to check those out, in the description to the podcast, there's always a link to the video feed. There's also, you'll find a link down there to the New York Times First Person podcast and their episode, When What Matters Most is Going on a Cruise, which is about me. So feel free to check that one out as well. All right, our buddies Pittsburgh Jason and Jennifer, they actually sailed yesterday on the Carnival Legend from Baltimore. We're going to talk to Jason tomorrow morning. I have some questions about Baltimore and how they do things with cruise ships, because I've never sailed out of Baltimore. And one of the places I definitely want to, but I want to get some background as to how things went. Got a couple things to talk with Jason and Jennifer about tomorrow. This morning they were out, coming out of the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That's
Look at that.
Jennifer and Jason out on the balcony as they are approaching the Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Huh. Interesting. Pretty cool. Look at that sailboat.
Sailboat coming right at them.
Well, we're almost underneath the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, right, Jen? Is this fun?
Yes. One of the scariest bridges to drive over.
But underneath, not so bad, right? All right, do your little arm thing. Sorry, where you're happy. Do your happy arm.
What are you saying?
Put your arms up. We're underneath. You did it. You're underneath the Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
That's great. I saw that and I just died laughing. Jennifer, hey, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. It was a lovely, lovely sunrise this morning on the Carnival Legend. As they are getting ready to sail off to Bermuda. So, a little fun there this morning with Jason and Jennifer. And like I say, tomorrow we'll chat a little further with Jason on the Carnival Legend. Got some questions for Jason. So, all right, guys, I'll be back with today's stories right after a word from one of our network sponsors. All right, the top story this morning, folks, has to do with Belize. Many of you have been to Belize. The government of Belize has announced the end of all COVID health protocol requirements for entry into the country, including proof of vaccination, pre-travel testing, and travel health insurance coverage. The change, which was announced on the 15th, includes cruise travelers. In an announcement from the Belize Tourism Board, all public health measures for both land and sea entry into the country have been discontinued effective immediately. Travelers visiting the Central American country will no longer need to present a negative COVID test, show proof of vaccination, or purchase travel health insurance. The government does recommend that travelers continue to take precautions they feel most comfortable with, urging vaccination as the best protection and encouraging travel insurance in case of emergency. Will this have any tremendous impact on the cruise industry? Doubtful. Number one, it's clearly a sign of getting back to normalcy. But before this would have a major impact on the cruise industry, you'd have to have several ports of call doing that, enough that the cruise ship could then change its protocols. So, and that's not going to happen just with one country when you might be visiting 3 or 4 or 5 ports on a cruise. So, the major impact on the cruise lines just not going to happen from Belize going back to normal. Now, if Belize and Honduras and Mexico and Cozumel and Costa Maya and if they all are in similar positions where you don't have to do anything, then you got a chance of maybe changing the protocols. But it's clearly a good sign, folks. Don't get me wrong. It's a sign of getting back to normalcy. I'm trying not to be the half full kind of guy on this and worry about the negative side of them doing it too early and those kind of things. I'm becoming more of a believer of, we're going to have to deal with this forever, so let's figure out the ways of doing it and as naturally as we can. Doesn't mean from a personal standpoint I'm going to do things a whole lot differently. I mean, if I go to Belize, I'll go to Belize. It's not going to deter me from going because everybody now has, no testing requirements. That's what they're comfortable with, and that's fine. As long as I'm comfortable with it, then I would go on like I have been. As it is, I'm comfortable on cruise ships, which Also puts me comfortable going on shore, going on ports of call, going on excursions. Am I running a risk? Maybe. But it's a risk I'm willing to take. All right, the second story today was, that kind of a continuation from this weekend. Bermuda changed. Oh, by the way, Belize, a lot of the ships are going to Belize now. Carnival has several ships stopping there. Carnival Vista, Carnival Dream, Carnival Glory currently are stopping in Belize. Celebrity has Infinity, Constellation, and Apex. Princess has Caribbean Princess, Ruby Princess, Sky Princess. Royal Caribbean has Liberty of the Seas, Grandeur of the Seas, and Radiance of the Seas, all stopping in Belize. So Belize is definitely a popular spot, and it's going to affect all of those cruise lines. Carnival updated their protocols on Bermuda cruises. I did a piece on this yesterday. The main thing about it, it deals with the document of recovery is no longer required. Not required, accepted. So if you were using the document of recovery as your entry into Bermuda, that is no more. You have to have the vaccinations and the testing. Either the one test at 72 hours, the other test that's 48 hours, one or the other, whichever you apply for. Also this weekend I talked with two of my content creator buddies. Google and Rob are over there with Captain Kate on the Celebrity Beyond. That's Rob and Guga with Captain Kate. And they were able to break Captain Kate news story from the Celebrity Beyond. Captain Kate is coming up on the end of her contract. She started working on Celebrity Beyond during construction phase. Well, now it's been out sailing for a while, since in the spring. And she's coming up to the end of her contract. There were a lot of rumors circulating about where Captain Kate would go and what Captain Kate would be doing. Google and Rob were able to break the news that Captain Kate is coming back to Celebrity Beyond. While she's gone for her vacation, Captain Dimitri will take the helm, and when she comes back to work, it will be back at the helm of Celebrity Beyond. It was wildly circulated that Celebrity might put her in a position similar to Ambassador John Heald with Carnival, a position where she uses her social media following for celebrity in a more direct way than she does now. A lot of wild circulated rumors on how she would be used. But in fact, she's going back to captaining. So that's the Captain Kate news for the day. I, for one, am all in favor of that. I think she's terrific. Another story from this weekend, folks, the Westerdam. This is a little added information. The Westerdam ran into some azopod issues. I raised the question, the way it was reported and the way it turned out. Did the Westerdam perhaps get into another growler, one of the icebergs up there in Alaska? Well, still don't know the answer to that, but they sailed yesterday as scheduled. And when I checked them this morning, they were currently happily sailing toward the first Alaska port, which is Juneau tomorrow at over 20 knots. So they seem to be sailing along at a pretty good rate of speed. So maybe they got it fixed. I don't know. No changes announced on the itinerary for this cruise. So that's the Westerdam. And finally, our buddies over at Paradise, Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. You know, the Coast Guard pulled the rug out from under them last week. Wouldn't let them sail on, that would have been on, what day was that? 18 something, done the 15th. They were not allowed to sail. Had to come in compliance with some of the Coast Guard regulations. They had to cancel one cruise, refund the money, of course, for everybody. Unfortunately, the people weren't informed of what was going on, particularly in a timely fashion, so some of the customers were upset. But the whatever the issues were that kept them from being in compliance, those were corrected, and they were allowed to sail. That would have been on the 19th. No, today's the 18th. That would have been on the 17th that they were allowed to sail. So they're back where they're supposed to be. So their Margarita at Sea Paradise is back, spreading the joy in maybe an alcoholic beverage or two. I don't know. All right, let's jump over and see who's with us this morning. Wasn't a whole lot of terrifically news today. Double check to make sure that was, yeah, that's the end of it. All right, let's see who's with us in the chat room. Amy's with us. Good morning. I detest caviar, so I'm not celebrating that today. Don't blame you. Katie's with us. Not my favorite. Yuck. Way too salty for my liking. I agree. Katie's here. Cindy's here. Hi, Cindy. Katie says good morning to everybody. Nikki's with us. I love the pop of caviar on the roof of my mouth. Oh, well, just not my favorite. I mean, I'll eat it. Just not my favorite. Nikki says, hi, Katie. You picked a good time to leave the Florida heat. Sun rises at sea. How lovely. Yeah, that was a very nice sunrise. Glad to see Jason and Jennifer out of bed this morning. Kenneth's with us. Hi, Kenneth. Good afternoon, everybody. Rainy day here in Pennsylvania. We've had some rain off and on here in Virginia, too. But then it's still hot as the y'all get out. Gonna be up in the 90s here again today. So my afternoon will be, I will spend a good bit of it out in the pool. I've been doing at least an hour a day in the water. So, and I've been walking a little bit. Now, I have trouble walking still. I mean, I gotta have my oxygen. But I have been walking some every day. So, we're working at getting better. So far, so good on the new chemo business. I've had a couple queasy periods, but not bad. Queasy enough to take I call them puke pills, which she gave me a new prescription of puke pills. So I took one this morning, as a matter of fact, because I was just feeling kind of yucky. But it goes away. So it's not really, I'm not really sick from it, I can't eat. It's one thing that bothers me for 2 hours. So sometimes it's hard to tell if you're really hungry, or, you're kind of yuck. So Anyway, I took a pill this morning. I feel fine. I'm still hungry because I haven't eaten. But anyway, Hot Air's with us. Says hello, everyone. So at the bottom line, Hot Air Tom, the result of that is, I would say, the 50-50 shot of me being able to go on the cruise with you is now up to about 99.9% chance that I'm going to be on that cruise and on the remainder of my schedule. Thank you very much. I'm not at the point of maybe booking something else yet, but I'm looking, starting to look. If I get a real bargain, now I'm bargain shopping. I'm basement bargain shopping, folks. If I get a real bargain, you know, there's bargains sometimes in the middle of hurricane season. Yeah. I might just jump on something if I catch a cheapie enough. Okay, yeah, this is one that I was going to question you about, Hot Air Tom. Will Chillie be comfortable cruising on Princess with unvaccinated folks? I don't see that they are trying to get more unvaccinated folks or promoting unvaccinated folks than anybody else. I'm not sure I understand where that one came from, other than they opened it up to kids. They're doing free kids. Well, that's one of Princess's things. They've done it a bunch of times. So I'm not sure that they're doing anything that much different than anybody else as far as, you know, trying to attract unvaccinated people. I'm still thinking the numbers are going to remain pretty close to what they've been, you know, the 95% vaccinated category. I don't see that changing a whole lot. I could be wrong. Hot Air says like 99.9%. Princess opened up to adults to 10% with no doctor's notes. They are still needing to approve. Cindy says Carnival has some really cheap ones right now. Hot Air says he's got the mail today has the envelope with the bag tags for the 821 cruise. Okay. Princess opened up the adults to 10%. I'm not sure I agree with that. I didn't find any change in policy, Tom, that would cause that. I think Princess said that 10% of the total passengers can be unvaccinated without restrictions except for Canada. Okay, now that makes sense. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're trying to get more unvaccinated people. Hey Tom, just contracted today for new air and furnace. No cruises getting canceled, but we don't cruise like you. 10,700 with the humidifier. Oh, that's the new air conditioning unit. Chillie to come to Bermuda with us on the Carnival Magic cruise ship September 24th, around $300 for an inside cabin. 24th of September. I don't think I've got anything booked in. Let me see. Where do I have that? I have that over here. Travel calendar. Have I got anything in September? August 21st to 28th, then I don't do anything until October. Yeah, my September's open. All right, let me look at that one, Kenneth. I will do that. Look at that. Going to Bermuda. Gretchen says they're going to install it tomorrow. Amy read that on Doug Parker's Cruise Radio website today. Kenneth read that Princess is going to let 10% of the passengers be non-vaccinated. 10% of the passengers be non-vaccinated. So then 90%. So they're going to drop it from 95% to 90%. Okay, I'll buy that one. They're dropping the percentage down 5%. It was 95. They're dropping it to 90. Okay. Is that going to make me feel that much more uncomfortable? I doubt it. I don't see that changing my thinking at all. The article was Cruise Radio News. I haven't listened to that. I will go listen to Doug. I don't normally always listen to Doug, but yeah, I'll check it out and see if there's anything in there other than what I've been able to gather. Check your price on Carnival Paradise. It may have gotten cheaper. I checked it a couple days ago, and at that point, it hadn't. Lizzie Lou's with us. Hi, Lizzie. Glad you're here. Cindy also saw the article about Princess. Okay. 10% sounds good. If I can get my kids to cruise Princess. Yeah, again, folks, the bottom line of that is that they're moving it from 95%, which is what they've been sailing at all along, to 90%. I can live with that. I might be worried if it was 30%. I'm not even sure that would worry me that much anymore. So Amy says, I doubt the cruise lines will go lower than 10% on vaccinated until CDC says it's okay. That's a good point. I think the CDC will have a say in that as well. And until they do, I don't see any major changes on that as well. So, anyway, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, hopefully tomorrow morning we'll have our buddy Jason and Jennifer on board for a little live stream. So we can, if you think of any questions, send them to me so we'll make sure we ask Jason about questions on board the Carnival Legend. I do have some questions about the Carnival Legend. I have some questions about embarkation procedures in Baltimore. And I think they drove in yesterday morning before they sailed. Are they going to have a chance to go out for a meal in Baltimore before they head back to Pittsburgh? I love Baltimore. Baltimore's probably my favorite city in the United States. And I've had some of my favorite meals, favorite bar visits. I mean, I still love to take the water taxi up to Fells Point and, hit 5 or 6 bars around Fells Point. I've done that more times than I'd like to admit. But yeah, I like Baltimore. I like Baltimore a lot. Some good eating down there around the harbor. So, anyway, hopefully Jason will get a chance to sample maybe some crab or something before he goes back to Pittsburgh when they get done. And we'll see what they're gonna do in Bermuda as well. So we got some questions for Jason for tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. As always, we appreciate thumbs up on this channel. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Helps the channel out a lot. And you can hit the bell notification so you'll know when I go live or when a new video is up. So it's going to wrap it up for today. As always, folks, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see everybody same time, same channel tomorrow morning. That's 11 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time for travel and cruise industry news. Have a fabulous day. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.